Everybody should know this. I'm going to start giving you some easy ones first, and I'm going to give you some more ninja NEPQ expanded probing questions after that. So the first one is, let's say the prospect tells you something, maybe a problem they have, and you would simply say, oh, hold on, tell me more about that. Or when you said blank, can you tell me more about that? See, that's an easy one. That's a basic one. Everybody should already know that. Good Lord, that's been around for 50 years, right? It's just a powerful way to get your prospect to expand their problems that they bring up from your questions. Now, here's another one, okay? Let's say that you're trying to find out the company's decision-making process. Most salespeople say, well, besides you, who would be involved in this decision? And most people shut down because pretty much every salesperson asks them that same question. Once again, you don't want to sound like everybody else that's tried to sell them for the last 10, 15, 20 years because they just think you like everybody else, all right? So you want to relanguage it. So this is called an NEPQ lead-in phrase. Can you walk me through? So write that down. Sally, can you walk me through your company's decision-making process when it comes to solving challenges like this? Can you walk me through your company's decision-making process when it comes to solving problems like this? All right, so let's go to the next one. Those are pretty basic. I just gave you some basic ones right there, right? Can you walk me through? So even if the prospect says in the meeting that they are the only decision maker, you obviously never take that at face value if you sell B2B. I can assure you of that, because there are always other influencers that are going to influence that decision, even if they can't make the decision, all right? Now, let me give you another example here, all right? So they say something like some type of issue or problem. You want them to expand that. So this is another NEPQ lead-in phrase. Can you give me a specific example? Can you give me a specific example so I understand that better? Oh, the company that was here, they didn't ship the XYZ widgets for 6 weeks. Okay, well, hold on. Walk me back. Can you give me a specific example so I understand that better? Well, yeah, 3 weeks ago, see, I'm helping them relive the pain. Now, that's not the only thing we do. That's the tip of the iceberg, asking that expanded probing question. After we do that, we're then going to clarify off more of the pain they say, and then we're going to probe again. I'm going to show you that example in a minute, all right? We're just getting warmed up. All right, here's another one, all right? Because pain is good for you and them, because what does it do? The more pain you can help them feel, the more urgency they have to want to move away from that pain and actually solve that pain and get what they want, all right? Now, here's another one, okay? Here's an NEPQ lead-in phrase, okay? Can you go over with me? Can you go over with me what you might be looking for when considering a company, just so I understand? Okay? Can you go over me, or can you walk me through? Those are different ways you can ask that. Can you go over with me what you might be looking for when choosing a company to work with? Can you go over with me? All right? Now, let's talk about why we want to ask that, okay? All right, here's another lead-in phrase. Walk me through. Okay, write that down. Write that down. I'm going to go fast now. Walk me through. Walk me through is a phrase that allows your prospect to step by step explain how the organization makes decisions, and allows you to know how to best position your company within that process and who to influence to win that account. See, if they say, well, we had XYZ problem happen. Hold on. Walk me through what that means. When you say blank, can you walk me through what that means? That's a clarifying question right there. Hold on, when you say blank and you repeat back the problem or issue they had, can you walk me through what that means? Okay? Can you walk me through the criteria you use to make a decision on something like this? See how that works? Can you walk me through? All right, now here's another one. This is a really good one. Describe for me, okay? That's another NEPQ lead-in phrase. Sally, can you describe for me what you possibly might be looking for to see if we could help? Can you describe for me what you're possibly looking for to see if we could help? Can you describe for me what you meant by that? Hold on, John. When you said blank, can you describe for me what you meant by that? See, that's an NEPQ clarifying question, okay? And once again, based off their answer, we're going to clarify more and probe more, which I'm going to give you some examples here in a second. All right. I'm just warming up here. Got some more here that I'm going to give you. These are actually really good, all right? Okay. Here are a few more lead-in phrases. Can you unwrap that for me? Make sure you write that down. Can you unpack that for me? Can you go back a few pages for me? Okay, so let me explain that. Sally, can you unwrap that for me so I have a better understanding? John, hold on, John, you're losing me here. Unpack that for me a bit more. Okay, John, I'm not, just if you could walk back here, maybe go back a few pages for me so I can understand what you meant by that. Can you go back a few pages for me so I have a better background on when you said blank? Now, here's another NEPQ lead-in phrase. Can you explain to me, okay? Can you explain to me in more detail just so I have a better understanding? Explain to me is another NEPQ lead-in phrase that allows your prospect to elaborate more on the problem they just mentioned to you and helps them feel more of the pain of that problem, the root cause, how it's impacting on them. Then after they expand on their pain, you're going to ask the following NEPQ probing questions to help them feel it even more. So after they say, oh, well, this happened and this happened, okay, you're then going to ask them these type of probing questions. Hold on, wait a minute. When you said blank, how long has that been going on? So when they tell you like, oh, it's been this problem and it's caused us to feel this way and like, oh my gosh, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, and how long has that been going on for? That's an NEPQ probing question. How long is that? Hold on, how long has that been going for? Now, are you paying attention to my tonality? You don't say, how long has that been going on for, George? Tonality is important, okay? See my tonality, my feature, like my body language. Even if I'm on the phone, I'm still saying the same thing. Oh, and how long has that been going on for? Like I'm acting confused. Oh, geez, that's been going on for probably 18 months. Okay, so help me understand. You've been having the same problem for the last 18 months. Has that had a impact on you? What did I just do there? Did you hear my tone? Did you see how my body moved in to show me? You have to mix that up, all right? Hold on, unwrap that for me. Whoa. You're losing me. Unwrap that for me so I have a better understanding. Okay, I'm not understanding. Can you unwrap that for me a little bit so I have a better background? John, I'm not understanding what you meant. Can you unwrap that for me so I have a better background on what you meant? Unwrap that for me. Did you write that down? All right, let me give you some more. Unpack that for me. So instead of unwrap, you're unpacking. Oh, Sally, can you unpack that for me a bit so I understand more? Okay? Explain to me so I know how that affects you. Can you explain that to me a bit more so I know how that affects you when that happens? Okay? Can you go back a few pages for me? John, whoa. You're losing me. You're on page 15. I'm still back on page 3. Can you go back a few pages for me? Never heard that one, have you? Okay. Can you go back a few pages for me when you said, okay, see how that works? All right. Oh, I'm being Mr. Nice Guy today. All right, let's keep going. Now, these questions, I'm going to show you a few more. These questions show your prospects that you are what? That you are there for them. That you want to hear their pain. You not only want to hear their pain, but you want them to do what? Hear their pain. Because you want them to relive the experience of what the pain has done to them because they don't have the problem resolved yet. Now, what is the most intense human emotion? It's pain. Without pain, without the gap from where they are compared to where they want to be, you cannot tell them what their problems are. You cannot tell them what the gap is. Because if you do, you're biased. You're the salesperson. It's going to go in one ear, out the other. You have to ask the right questions that get them to expand the pain and tell the pain to themselves. Because if they tell themselves what's true and their pain, is that more persuasive than you telling them their problem? I think you know the answer. I would hope you know the answer by now, okay? Now, so let me clarify this. Without pulling out their pain from the prospect with NEPQ questions, your prospects will keep living that pain, doing what they've always done, staying in the status quo, never solving their problem. That's up to you as the salesperson to learn those skills so you allow them to overcome their own fears, their own issues in their mind that's holding them back from solving these problems and getting them where they want to. So if you can't get them into their emotional state, they don't want to change. They have too much fear. And that's why you get so many objections at the end. I want to think it over. Now's not a good time. I need to keep looking around. I need more quotes. I need more proposals. I need to do more research. That's exactly why, because you don't understand how to get them to their emotional state, okay? How to clarify and probe and take them through that sales process with NEPQ.